I am Shraddha Sinha, Assistant Professor in the Department of Zoology, Mahila Vidyalaya Degree College, Lucknow. So today I am going to discuss about the endocrine system. The endocrine system of the body is the system which coordinates and controls different organs. It secretes certain chemicals which are known as hormones that are released directly in the blood. Now, there are different types of endocrine glands which are found in the body, starting from the brain, in which there are 3 endocrine glands located, that is the pineal gland, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland. Then in the neck region we have thyroid gland and the parathyroid gland. Then in the chest region we have thymus. Then just above the kidney are the pair of adrenal glands situated. Then we have pancreas, and then we have gonads. In females we have ovaries, and in males we have testes. Now coming to the superiormost gland of the body, which is the hypothalamus. Earlier it was known that pituitary is the master gland, but after many researches it was found that it is the hypothalamus which is actually the master gland, because it releases certain hormones that controls the pituitary gland and which in turn stimulate or inhibit the pituitary hormones. So the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland are physically and chemically related to each other. So in this diagram you can see that hypothalamus is connected to the pituitary gland via a stalk or infundibulum, and the hypothalamus directly connects with the anterior part of the pituitary gland through a blood vessel which is known as the portal vein, and through this blood the hypothalamus releases its hormone which control the pituitary gland. Then the posterior part of the pituitary gland does not release its own secreted hormones, but it releases the hormones that are secreted by the hypothalamus. So these both glands, the hypothalamus and pituitary, are in close proximity with each other, and the system which connects both these glands is known as the hypophyseal hypothalamic portal system. Now coming to the hormones that are secreted by hypothalamus, we have a set of hormones which help in releasing the hormones from the pituitary gland, and a set of hormones that inhibit the hormones from the pituitary gland. So the releasing hormones are thyroid stimulating hormone releasing hormone, adrenocorticotropic releasing hormone, somatotropic releasing hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone, and prolactin releasing hormone. Then in inhibiting hormones we have somatostatin and the prolactin inhibiting hormone. So the releasing hormones make sure that pituitary gland releases its hormones when they get the stimulation from the hypothalamus, whereas the inhibiting hormones suppress the secretions from the pituitary gland. Now coming to the pituitary gland, so the pituitary gland releases 6 hormones. The first one is the thyroid stimulating hormone, which stimulates or activates the thyroid gland to release T3 and T4, which are together known as thyroid hormones. Then we have ACTH, adrenocorticotropin hormone, which stimulates the adrenal gland to secrete its hormones. Then we have prolactin, which is also known as the lactation hormone. It stimulates the mammary gland to produce prolactin, which is helping in the milk production in the mammary gland. Then we have GH or growth hormone, which acts on the muscles and bones to increase in the growth of the body. Then we have FSH, that is follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, that is luteinizing hormone. These both hormones help in the oogenesis, spermatogenesis, and the release of androgen from the reproductive organs. Then, as we discussed previously, hypothalamus and pituitary are related to each other, and hypothalamus is known as the master gland, as it regulates the pituitary gland, which in turn stimulates the other endocrine glands. So in this flowchart we can see that the hypothalamus is releasing a set of hormones, which is in turn controlling the anterior pituitary hormones, and which is in turn controlling the target endocrine glands. So the first one is thyroid releasing hormone, which is controlling the thyroid stimulating hormone released from the pituitary gland, which is in turn controlling the thyroid gland stimulation. Then we have corticotropic releasing hormone, which is controlling the adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is in turn stimulating the adrenal gland. Then we have GnRH or gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is stimulating the release of LH and FSH from the pituitary gland, which is stimulating testes and ovaries to perform their function and release the reproductive hormones. Then we have gonadotropin inhibiting hormone, which is inhibiting these hormones. Then we have growth hormone releasing hormone, which is ensuring the release of growth hormone from the pituitary gland. Then we have somatostatin or growth hormone inhibiting hormone, which is inhibiting the release of growth hormone from the pituitary. Then we have prolactin inhibiting hormone, which is the inhibitor of the prolactin release from the pituitary. Then the posterior pituitary, as I already told, that it does not secrete or synthesize any hormone, but it stores and releases the hormone from the hypothalamus. So it secretes two hormones, it releases two hormones. First one is oxytocin and the second one is ADH or antidiuretic hormone, which is also known as vasopressin. So the oxytocin helps in the contraction of the uterus during the labor, during the delivery, and the ADH or antidiuretic hormone plays an important role when there is excess water loss from the body. It helps in the retention of the water in the body. Then we have pineal gland, which is pea-sized gland located in the brain, and it is also known as the sleep hormone. It regulates the sleep-wake cycle of the body. It releases a hormone which is known as melatonin. Then we have thymus, which is also known as the throne of immunity, because the T cells of the blood, they mature in the thymus, and as we age, this hormone atrophies, and therefore the immunity is compromised as we age. Then we have thyroid gland. Thyroid gland releases T3, T4 and calcitonin, 3 hormones. So if you look at the histology of the thyroid gland, we have follicles surrounded by the follicle cells, and we have parafollicular cells that are found in between the follicles. So these follicle cells release T3 and T4, triiodothyronine and tetraiodothyronine. So the triiodothyronine is the active form of thyroid hormone. Then the parafollicular cells, also known as the C cells, release calcitonin. So the thyroid hormone regulates the basal metabolic rate of the body, and the calcitonin helps in the calcium regulation. It decreases the amount of calcium in the blood. Then we have parathyroid gland, which is located in the posterior, or rather the dorsal side of the thyroid gland. It has parathyroid hormone, which helps in increasing the blood calcium levels via 3 mechanisms. First is by resorbing the bone, then by the reabsorption from the urine, and then by maximum absorption via food. Then we have adrenal gland. the adrenal gland has two parts, the adrenal medulla and adrenal cortex. Then in cortex we have three layers. The outer one is the zona glomerulosa, which releases mineralocorticoids. Example is aldosterone. This helps in water and mineral balance of the body. Then we have the second layer, which is zona fasciculata, which releases glucocorticoids. Example is cortisol. This helps in glucose metabolism. It is also known as the stress hormone. Then we have zona reticularis, innermost layer, which secretes a set of hormones known as androgens. Example, estrogen and testosterone. Then in the medulla we have neurotransmitters like epinephrine, norepinephrine, also known as adrenaline and noradrenaline. So this is the modified nervous system part which is released in case of emergency situations. Then we have pancreas. It is also known as a mixed gland because it has both endocrine and exocrine function. Then in pancreas, if we look at the histology, we have acini, and in between the acini we have a group of cells which are known as islets or islets of Langerhans. So islets of Langerhans are of many types. The first one is alpha cell, which secretes glucagon. Then we have beta cell, which secretes insulin. Then delta cell, which secretes somatostatin, and F cell, which secretes pancreatic polypeptide. Now the glucagon increases the glucose level of the blood, insulin reduces the glucose level of the blood, somatostatin inhibits the function of these hormones. Then we have the gonads, that is ovary in females, which releases progesterone and estrogen, and in case of male we have testes, which secrete testosterone. Then when the female is pregnant, there are some more hormones which are released by the uterus and placenta, which help in reproduction.